Things aren't going good, by the way. I extended myself until this Tuesday, and I got the money I'm borrowing to pay that, and I should have my roommate sign the paperwork so I can open up his account. But he's such in credit card debt, and they're taking money out of his account as we speak. So he has a home phone, but he was fucking around with third party deals, and now he has to pay $130 for a fucking home phone. I told him not to sign up for the bullshit ads that come in the mail for third party. Who fucking cares about you getting a 3-month discount? They're gonna rack up your bills, Dave. They're gonna rack up your bills, Dave. It's a fucking scam. You're ever so the phone company BreezeLine told you they do not work with them, but if you want them, you're perfectly allowed to sign up. But that does not mean they're part of BreezeLine. And then David says, "Shut up, they're part of BreezeLine. Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then he calls them, signs up, and then he gets $50 off his bill for 3 months. And then he pays an additional $50 on his bill for the last 6 months, and it's still coming in. And the only person that can shut down this right now as he files for bankruptcy is him in the hospital. But he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to sign paperwork. He doesn't want to call people. He doesn't. So instead, I'm just trying to put the stuff in the storage, pay up for it until everything's in the storage, and then I'm going to die someplace. But it's not like I get a choice. It's not like I have a choice in the matter. I have a job. I chose to get a job, but I'm not allowed to work there until my disabilities are treated. So I went to the doctors. I made a choice to go to the doctors so I could go back to work. The problem is the doctors need proper information and medical history and more information on what's causing this. The problem is my mother and father are hiding that information, and they're calling this a story and a fantasy and a lie because they're trying to avoid responsibility again. But the doctors are going along with that and my epilepsy, so they're doing a little bit of both. They're treating me for my injuries, but they're also kind of treating me like shit and mistreating me and malpracticing me as well. So I'm getting malpractice at the emergency room. I'm getting additional fraudulent paperwork. What's just a snowball rolling downhill. Everybody wants to add to my mother's and father's fantasy. I mean, it's pretty bad now, too. I mean, it's just driving me nuts. I'm going nuts. I go in there for internal bleeding that everybody in the world can see with their own 2 eyes. But before the doctors have even seen me or spoke with me, they've read my medical file that has been weaponized by my mother and father. They come right in and they go, "Do you want a psychiatrist?" You haven't even met with me yet, dog. What the fuck is wrong with you people? I want to bash you in the fucking nose. And whoever gave you that information that made you walk into a room and first thing saying that, and then instead I go, take a deep breath, because this doctor won't help you if you get mad. So instead go, "Sure, doc, but don't you want to see me or look at me first?" And then he goes, "Oh, yes, oh, yes." And then you drop your pants, and then the doctor goes, "Oh, no, this is real. Oh, do not do that. He'll send you right back here. Oh, go see a urologist and a GI specialist, and you need to go to the primary care, because the primary care, it was who will give you the referrals to go do this stuff." Why there was a sudden change in the doctor's attitude? Because first he was listening to my mother and father and my medical records, driving me insane with his bullshit. And then when he saw the blood in my testicles, then he's like, "Oh my God, this is real." And he saw that there was a little bit of swelling in the GI. But you know what? That's still not enough, because they want to push things out 6 months. By the time I get back in places, it has healed up so they can't see it anymore. So then I have to deal with being driven nuts with malpractice and maltreatment some more. Now, who is misinforming the doctors that somehow, did I ever tell the doctors that I'm lying to them? Have I ever lied to my doctors? No. But my life is fucking nuts and hard to believe. Yes, I did live in Texas. Yes, I did get abused in New Mexico. Yes, I'm missing 4 years of education. Yes, I have a speech impediment that isn't on my medical record. Yes, I'm having epileptic seizures. Yes, I've had multiple injuries throughout my childhood that were not recorded at the doctors. Yes, my mother and father hurt me, not helped me. Yes, they pretend like they did all this great stuff for me. Meanwhile, what they did is they enriched themselves at the risk of me. Now, if they say, no, we never did that, well, just ask them about New Mexico and Maine. Ask them what was going on in New Mexico and Maine. After they sued, did they decide that it was first thing first, education, health care, make sure your son can get a good future? Or did they decide they were going to homeschool their child and they were just going to buy and sell houses and do what's best for them? I'm not complaining. I'm just saying they did what was best for them, not what was best for the child. They did what was best for them. And to come back now and pretend like they did what was best for me and I never had any consequences from their choices would be complete bullshit. But see, when I tell the doctors that, they go, no way that your mother and father would go straight to Maine to buy and sell houses right after you were abused and they sued. If they sued a program in the mountains of New Mexico right after moving you to Texas, right after leaving Massachusetts, they wouldn't go straight to Maine knowing that they're going to go to Mass right next. That would be a whole mess of trouble. Why would a parent do that to their son? And then they go, well, no, if your mother was hitting you with a ruler, wouldn't more people speak up if your grandson was watching? If the grandson had a problem with you getting smacked with a ruler, wouldn't have somebody known? And if you really did tell the Department of Health that you were getting a shoe thrown at your head and your mother was acting unstable, and if you really were experiencing an overdose in Westford, then why did none of the doctors in Westford do it? Because I was moved to Texas. They were trying to help me. There was physical therapy and speech therapy. Then why don't we see any of this on your medical file? Wouldn't your mother and father put this on your medical file? So it's a whole confusing mess where the doctors are like, how could this be? How could this many mistakes happen? How could there be 101 medical malpractice mistakes done by these people to a person in so many different states? It must be a story. He must have never lived in Texas. He must have never lived in New Mexico. Maybe he was never brought to Maine. Maybe his mother really is alive today. Maybe he really is just mentally ill and we should drug him. That is the attitude that they end up developing while looking through the file before they even see me. Then they walk into that doctor's room and they see me, and then they hear my funny voice, and they see my funny walk, and it clicks in their head, oh, this has to be a mental illness. It's all made up. It's all made up. It's all made up. He's just out to get his parents, like they said. The mother and father says they're out to get him, and everything's a fantasy. So let's just drug this kid, hold him down, and give him Thorazine already. And then I lose my fucking mind because now I'm getting malpracticed and hurt because I'm asking for help with an epileptic disorder and clearing out all this fraudulent mental illness bullshit. But then doctors are adding to it because they're chalking everything up to bullshit.